here is exactly how I'm able to close $10, $15, $20,000 deals with my AI agency. Instead of sharing different flowcharts and maps explaining why and what you need to do, I decided to share a real prospect I am trying to close right now for multiple 5 figures. A lot of the information will be blurred because we're discussing pretty sensitive topics, but I'm pretty sure you'll find a lot of value inside. I post pretty actively on LinkedIn. The posts range between just regular ones where I talk about my journey and some of the insights, as well as the engagement seeking post. Basically, these are the things where I say, hey, this is the 7.5K AI sales agent. So if you want to get a template or a video or the guide or something, you need to post a comment like, want this agent. Then I DMing the person trying to provide the access to this agent. This specific prospect that I'm talking about the first time interacted with me on February 19th, and he was requesting a WhatsApp bot Loom video. Then we've been going back and forth with the engagement type of the post. He was requesting the access to certain info, but was not asking anything. Then in April 17th, he sent me the first readable message. It says, appreciate it. So I want you to build a custom solution for me. How do I protect my ideas so that it's not marketed to others? I would think some kind of licensing agreement where we each other royalties, or I'd like your AI to do a few things and it works if it's scaled to a different but similar applications. Now, the very first thing when someone sends me this type of the request, it doesn't really matter if it's the LinkedIn or the email or the actual booking on our website, I go and check out the company information. So I open the profile. Again, I will blur a lot of the information out so that I don't leak anything. And I try to get a sense of A, the company size, and B, the person role inside this company. So here I can see that he is the vice president. First is that because he's not a CEO, and because when researching the company, I found out that there are 200 to 500 employees working for this company, it means that he is A decision maker, and B, these are the guys that could potentially be qualified to work with us. When I say qualified, it means that we have a certain threshold that we do not go below. Most of the projects that we do range from $8 to $20,000. So the 8 is the bare minimum, and I want to make sure that they will be able to afford it. So now, once he send me this message, I say, okay, sure. So I would want to engage with him. Again, this is just my privilege. I receive a lot of the inbound requests because of the content, so I need to pre-qualify people. So I say, yeah, of course, there is a contract and NDA, but I can explain it in details. Can you please share a bit more details on what you're looking for? Then, if it's a fit, we'll schedule a call. I always try to understand what the business does before the actual call. Again, because I'm pretty booked with a one prompt with Quimple, and I do not delegate the sales calls with prospects. I like to talk with everyone myself, and I want to make sure that we're gonna be a fit. So now he is sharing some details. That's the hard part for me. I think I can only explain specifically what we're going to do. I don't know if it can be vague. In my opinion, it's kind of no shit. Why didn't I think of that? I don't mean anything. It's to you. Now, so if you read this specific message, okay, you will see that he doesn't clearly represent the actual solution. Not the solution in terms of the technical aspect, but rather even like he's not providing any tangible aspects that I can rely on to try to understand how this system even going to be built. Because what he's explaining is just, general approach of like bot A does one task and this task is transferred to the bot 2 and or bot B, whatever. So it's like multi-agent agentic framework, which is pretty standard nowadays. So it doesn't like master of puppets. So he's like referencing all these things, overlord, which do not help. Okay, then I say I like the overlord and master of puppets thing. I always like to keep the conversation personalized and informal. It's just my style of work. If you've been following my content for some time, and you saw the video where I was talking about how I was starting, I lost a lot of clients when I was like at the very beginning because of that. Like, because I was like very straightforward and honest with people. So if I was not sure if we can build it, I was like telling that I wasn't sure in the quality of the services that I provide. And I was always like that. Right now I'm trying to balance, plus I'm like very confident in what we do. But this is just who I am. I'm not trying to, put a suit on me and like be in the corporate environment just because maybe this is not who I am. This is not what I was doing for my whole life. And I know that it may be a bit, hard for, older generation, like older people and like bigger companies to actually work with this type of the environment. I get it. This is just what I like, and this is what I try to, set up my agency around. Because, and by the way, it's a very important thing. I always, even before going into the company details, I try to understand like how old is the prospect. Not a lot of people talk about this, but in the AI space, it's very important. It's very important, not on the decision making side, but on the communication side, on the way you explain things, not just like formal, informal, but rather on like what examples do you provide to the person, like what references you do in order to make them comfortable in not go like, do you want to go into the technical details or you don't? Do you speak the business language or you don't, depending on their role? So there are a lot of things that happen before me like answering to the very first question. So what I am doing here is what I started to do recently, and I always do right now. Okay, this is just a must. I wouldn't say that I recommend this approach. It's just I'm sharing what works for me, and because like everyone is different, but I'm sharing the actual approximate cost of how much this system will take in terms of the time, and will take in terms of the resources, so that they can understand how much money is going to cost. So I give them the range. Usually the agents that we build are in the range of $12,000 to $16,000. I already told you the range of 8 to 20. This is too big of a range. But like, you might say, hey, Jim, but like he did not provide anything, right? So how you can estimate this? Well, first, because we were working with multiple companies in the same industry with a similar size. They had a very interesting use case that we never worked with, and I'm going to talk about this later. But I kind of had an idea of like potentially what can be built, and I thought that it's probably not going to be less than 10. Okay, so I gave this range, and the idea is not to make them say yes or no, but like the idea is to see if he continue to engage. It means that they have the funds to invest into this venture, into the developing this thing. So, and that's why I ask, is this within the budget you've been planning to invest? If so, would love to make a call, right? To actually get that understanding. Now, going back, where I said that I always need to understand like what we're trying to build before having the call to pre-qualify the prospect. But the pre-qualification is also means awareness of the budget, because he is probably older school. The way he was explaining things, I got a feeling that he will have a hard time explaining in text like what they need. That's why I said, okay, if he is aware of the budget, it means that this is an interesting project for us. We're gonna take it, and we're gonna take it to the sales call where I will get all the details. Maybe it's gonna be easier for him. Then he responds, I'm trying to build for my company. So then I ask if you're trying to sell it or build it. To start with, but I have a side hustle, whatever. So the budget, I can make that work. Do you accept POs on the 30-day terms? Very important, guys. Like this line says it all for me. This line is like going full send, okay, into the prospect. Because this is a very interesting, case for us. When someone not only says that I can make it work, or let's discuss. When someone says like about the POs and like 30-day terms, it means that like he's thinking about like actually handling the check. I'm like over exaggerating, but you got the idea. And it means that they're right now, they're like ready to go. So if we have the solution now, we're full sending this. I mean, I can't stress this enough how important this sentence is, because what we did with this prospect is not usually what we do, because like usually people don't say that, and like you'll understand what I mean in a second. So just keep that in mind. It's very important how you talk about like financial aspect of the deal. If you're starting out, you might want to like share the demo first, share the prototype first before even going into the financial kind of aspect. If you already kind of have an idea that the business can potentially, based on their size in the industry, afford it. But again, so I may be different. So that's why I was doing that. So, and third, he said, this is not a typical office automation I'll be requesting. I think it will be more unique, which is also why I feel we'll able to monetize it down the road, whatever. So then he shares the email for the NDA. I don't like sending any proposals, pitch decks. NDAs are different, but like I don't like to do anything before the sales call, right? Sales call, then we go. Because on the sales call, I understand how interested they are. I understand if we're a good fit. But here I had like a feeling based on the company detail, based on like, because we worked with in the industry, as like, okay, we should probably test it out, okay? So what I did is I went to PandaDoc, right? So, and here I sent him, we have the NDA template. So basically filled out the template, sent it to him. So he signed it. And then we sent him the message. I said, hey, following up on our LinkedIn conversation. So here's the NDA, please sign it. Okay, so he did. And here's the link to book a call with the details. So then he said, all right, brother, all set up. Going to be a long few days waiting to rattle this stuff off to you. I was like, okay, so, and he booked it for like in a week. I was like, okay, I don't want to wait for a week to hear about that. I want it now, like, because it's like, I always, and this is like back to the conversation, when people say that, more like, okay, do you accept like the wires, or like, so can you do that? Can you do the invoice? So it means that they're thinking about paying, and they're like thinking about it now. They're not just browsing. So it's like, okay, let's get it going and tell me more. Tell me more. What are you looking for? So I said, okay, so from the description on LinkedIn, you said that it's the agent that goes from like jumping from task to another task, from agent to another agent. It's like different agents. So I was like, what do you do? What do these agents do? Like, okay, so it's like multiple agentic workflows. So what each agent does. Okay. And he was like, okay, so here's where my brain is. So not sure which info I'm gonna blur and which not, but you'll see it here. So the idea is that the section 1, so it's like reading a PDF spec, right? In reading the PDF blueprint. Then, based on the information, he says draw circuits on the blueprint. Okay? So basically, to very simplify this, he was referencing that like we have a document. So we are reading this document, and we have like multiple documents, different formats. AI is reading the documents, retrieving the information from these documents, and then doing a certain thing, which is pretty understandable. It's like it's pretty standard flow working with the documents. But what he said is like drawing circuits. It's like, and I was clarifying that, like, are you like drawing like drawings? I was like, yeah. So, and the it a bit scared me because drawings on the tag documents, it's like CAD software, if you're familiar with it, on the 3D. So it's like, no, we would not do that. It's gonna be a wild, right? And it's like, okay. So the second one was prepare a submission package for the authority. Product data PDFs compiled into the PDF book. Compile load calcs based on the device and capability that was done in section 1. A bunch of other single document things. So the second one is more like just analyzing the documents, compiling them, analyzing them, and do something else, not drawing. So I was like, okay. Follow-up question was, okay, so basically, you would need to analyze the PDFs. Yeah, so I kind of get the idea, but as you said, it feels like something that would be called AI CAD. And CAD is a huge, company that is like providing the software. So it's probably not the way to go of like trying to replace them, and like, so that was not the point. Okay. And it's like, okay, can you please clarify all these things for me? Maybe can you send a few examples? What I was also saying is that, is there a middle ground where we can match? Because I understood that the first scenario, section 1, is not going to be like, no, we're not going to build it. We're not going to build, the software that is like drawing things. And I was like, okay, so can we build something in the middle where we're doing something that is still valuable, that is still going to provide like the value to the prospect, but not like actually, that type of the thing. And what he did, he sent me a few docs. Okay. So he said yes. And he actually provided, the spreadsheet and the plan. So I'm gonna open it, but again, so gonna blur this out. It's basically like picture the room plan, okay, with a lot of the small details, very small details, okay, very small details here and there. I was like, okay, so AI probably needs to read that, right? And he was explaining of what information do we need to capture from this and where to put it to. Okay. I was kind of also asking a few questions here and there. What I did, very important here, is that when we're working with bigger projects that require like a lot of different things, I always try to narrow down the focus of the prospect of saying, hey, let's focus on this one task. Let's try to finalize it. Let's see how it works and then go from there. Especially for this type of a project where everything is not like super clear. It's like, okay, so tell me the task, like exactly, like one step, step two agent, what does, what information it puts, where it finds it, what information it finds, so that I can understand it. Okay, so that it's easier for me and my developers. And he did it, right? So he actually provided the actual, another docs, right? So another set of docs. He's like, task one, review the specs. Task two, review the electrician plans. Determine how many card readers the client has, and then bring the equipment description. And so I was like, okay, so this is the task. This is what we need to do. Usually we don't do that. Like we charge like $1,000 for it. But and I knew that if I tell him that, hey, we're gonna charge you, like $1,000 for the prototype to see how it's gonna work. So wire us money. And he would do that, I'm pretty sure. But the thing is that I'm not interested in working on something that I don't understand if we're gonna build or not. So I need to make sure that it's not on us, it's more like on the LLM. So like, what tool are we using to analyze all these plans? Like, because this is not a standardized thing, this is not the PDF and text. So it's like, okay, so what do we do? And I decided, okay, so let's build him, let's give him something as a feedback to just, even for us, to see if it's gonna work. So I downloaded this thing. I go to the Llama Cloud, right? So Llama Parse, and went here literally in the playground, and I think I choose the premium type of the thing. And they have a lot of settings, right? So this is the best software when it comes to PDF parsing. By the way, guys, if you if you know something that would work with this type of documents better, let me know, because we're like still in the process of closing the client. And if you have a suggestion, awesome. But from our research, this is the best one. And because they have the OCR, it's pretty standard, but they also have they can review like actual images and structured data, extract vector charts. We can skip so like there are so many different settings, and I'm not exactly remember what was what we put it here, but in the system. So besides that, we also have the system prompt, and so we're not just parsing the document, we're like also generating the the reply that we're looking at. We need to look, and I inputted all the information that he provided here. This is like probably took like about 2 minutes to generate the reply, and I got the reply. But the thing is that because we didn't go into the details of the project, I had no idea if it's accurate, like honestly, because the plans are so hard that it's manually. It's, if you don't know what you're looking at, it's hard to like understand what you're like. So I was like, okay, let me send this bulk of the info and say what he thinks. So I send this info here. This is what basically I got from the Llama Parse. Because like again, so my thinking is that this is random. We did not configure it. Maybe we'll find something better. But if it's near accurate, we're gonna make it. Okay, we're gonna make it. He says, okay, shutting down for the week. But what I ask is, rated the reply from 1 to 10, where 10 being very accurate and 1 being trash. Okay, he said it's about 5. I was expecting more, but it's like, okay. Then we had a call, a very quick call on the phone. What I told him is that, hey, can you please, and it's like, I got a feeling that he's very interested. And he was actually, telling me, hey, can I pay you money already? Like, because I was like, no, please don't pay us. Let me make sure that it's gonna work. Okay. So he sent us 3 more examples of what like he is looking for, right? And so he's like 3 other tasks, right? So like the document as well as the actual, actual description. This time what I did, I decided, okay, let me go to ChatGPT and literally like paste the docs and provide his description, what he's looking for, and if in a small like description what I'm looking for, like from this. It took him, I was using O3, it took like 1 minute 20 seconds, and it like generated this reply with like analyzing different things. Okay, so I literally copy it and paste it here, here, and said, okay, rate it from 1 to 10, 10 being great. He says 8. I mean, 8 at pretty not doing like too much things. It means that this can be done. This can be done. Now, what we would need to still figure out is that if it's 8, like if it's 9, if it's not 10, can it work? Because like sometimes you need 10, like you cannot go in production. So, but if you're not doing it for the production version documents, are like, is it gonna be a time saver or not? So anyways, what I'm saying is that you need to be very cautious on like the things that you work with, and do not be afraid to build demos and prototypes, because me, guys, like I am like I have clients, right? So I have the agency. I've been doing that for free. Okay, even though I was like pretty cautious that he's gonna pay, but still, when I receive messages from people starting out, it's like, hey, like I don't want to do demos or prototypes for free because it's free, I usually suggest you to charge money for it, of course, to make customers committed. But it depends on the customer. If they're already committed and looking for the solution, if you build it fast. And it was literally the same day. So I was like, it was the same day. It was not like 7 days. It was the same day. So I wanted to make sure that we're gonna, close him. And this is what we're doing right now. We're still discussing a few things. If you want me to then continue like reviewing this project, when we close him, on the actual contract details and all the aspects, and then show you the actual prototype of the demo, let me know in the comments, because I do want to continue, but I want to make sure that you guys are also interested. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.